being pulled up. Hey, my friends. Welcome back once again to the worldwide broadcast, the Ted and Austin Broer Show, bringing you the latest world news and health research. Hope you guys are having a good, healthy morning. Got another Fit Food shake in here today. I used up the rest of the Fit Food earlier, and I was quickly informed that there's no Fit Food left in the studio in here. I know. I like the chocolate. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. This is how dedicated I am to you, my friends. Today's July 7th, my birthday, and I'm here with you guys live. As always, almost every single birthday I've had for the last 10 years, I've been live on this show for you guys. That's how much I'm committed to y'all, and that's how much I'm here to bring the truth to you every single day. So you're welcome, and thank you for all the emails I've got this morning from everybody. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you're continually staying up to date on the news we have here at Health Masters.
You ready? Right?
Yeah.
I was going to do this on the air this morning. You ready, Rich?
What?
Yeah, you ready, Rich? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. You got to sing, Rich. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Austin. Happy birthday to you. Surprise, surprise. Anybody more?
Thank you guys for all that.
Hope you guys were singing along.
And you know, it's only proper that on my birthday, it's the last day of the Ultimate Multiple Powder Formula on sale for over 12% off right now.
Nice segue.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite products, probably one of the most popular products we have, that and the magnesium brain food. So make sure if you wanted to grab it while it's still on sale, grab it at healthmasters.com. And also be sure to check out the podcast news up at the top. Every single day we got new articles, new shows, new episodes right to the front door of Broer Show. And of course, you can set up your updates so you don't miss anything. First name, last name, email. Click the Broer Show and the Health Masters Report. That'll get you different sales specials, coupons, and different platform, different basically kits that we're throwing together. And it'll get you the Ted and Austin Broer Show every day. And I think I'm going to log into YouTube. I'm logged out right now. I'm going to log into YouTube and see what everybody's doing.
Well, you're going to get a bunch of birthday wishes on YouTube.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm 21 now. I can legally drink.
I have no comments.
No, I'm not 21. About twice that now. But, yeah.
Well, you're in your fourth decade.
I am. Here at it. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine.
Not your fifth decade, your fourth decade. You got 2 more years of your fourth decade, and then your fifth decade.
Thank you. You're making me feel even better about it. Fourth decade. You know,
finishing it up.
I had a friend I was talking to this morning about it, and she was asking me about, I've known her for years, she was asking me about time, why it always kind of feels like the older you get. I said, well, you got to understand, to make it very simplistic on a scale, I said, it's percentage standpoint as well. I said,
that's exactly what it is.
When you're 10 years old, right, and it seems like the summer's never going to end, and you're running around all day and doing different things and getting ready to start back school. I said, 1 year when you're 10 years old is 10% of your entire life, 10% of your memories, 10% of the time you've been breathing on Earth. As it continues to grow longer, more and more memories continue to build and make the time continually more, as far as more things added to it. By the time you're 40 years old, 1 year is only 2.5% of your life. It just starts getting faster and faster and faster, it appears. But time doesn't speed up. Time, in my opinion, is the same.
It appears
to speed up, but it doesn't. The scale is the same for everyone. Everybody's got the same amount of time every single day.
And then when you're 100 years old, 1 year is 1% of your life.
1% of your life.
That's why it seems to go really fast.
Really fast. I imagine that. So again, my friend.
Life in the hologram.
Yeah. And enjoy the time you have now. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your family. Enjoy being healthy. Like you just said, the time we have here shortens up as it appears. Might as well feel really good and be really high energy and really mentally acute and pretty much don't really age with time. Just enjoy it. Do the best you can. Stay strong. Get the truth out there.
Show that meme real quick. This is what I want you to enjoy. I want you to enjoy not doing this.
Oh, gosh.
We're not going to speak about it. We're not going to talk about this, but we're going to show you.
Give me
camera 4, Rich. This is enjoy not doing this.
God, dude, why'd you make me post that?
Can you read it, everybody? It's still on camera 4, Rich? Yeah, why don't you just choke on that for a minute? Okay, we're done with that one now. Let's start the show.
back to our normal.
Some words
hour.
some words you can't say.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't. You really wanted to get me going off today, didn't you?
I saw that.
The thing about it is, the more I'm not doing it today. I'm not doing it today. You're not doing this to me. I'm not doing it. You're not going to trigger me with old.
You're triggered.
I am. I'm irritated. I can't stand that buffoon. He's a piece of crap. Oh,
by the way, just to make sure that we understand what's going on, Zelensky now has angered the Allies by honoring Ukrainian Nazis. Yeah, this guy. I told you there's full Nazi divisions there. They were in swastikas. Europe's united front behind Zelensky is beginning to crack. And this time it's not because of money or weapons. It is because of history. The Czech opposition party has demanded that President Petro revoke the Order of the White Lion, the country's highest state honor that was awarded to Zelensky. The demand came after Zelensky approved naming the Ukraine's 225th Separate Assault Regiment after the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists, a movement whose factions collaborated with Nazi Germany during World War II and whose legacy remains deeply divisive and Nazis throughout Central Europe. I told you this and told you this and told you this about who these people were in Ukraine and why they did what they did. This is an extraordinary political blunder by the man who likes to play the piano with his private parts, naked. Zelensky, just thought I'd mention that. Poland stood behind Ukraine from the very beginning, accepted millions of refugees, became one of Kiev's largest military supporters, and repeatedly urged Europe to increase aid. The Czech Republic likewise committed substantial military, financial, and humanitarian assistance. Instead of recognizing the enormous sacrifices these countries have made, Zelensky chose to celebrate a movement that many of his closest allies remember not as freedom fighters, but as perpetrators of wartime atrocities. That's not true, by the way. He cannot expect governments to erase generations of historical memory simply because it is politically convenient today, because it was political memories that were basically put there by the Russians to basically force them into compliance. The bureaucrats in Brussels have spent years insisting that everyone accept a single approved version of history, like I just said, but history cannot be rewritten by decree. So Zelensky is doing that. Now, why would he do that? Well, that gets more of these quote-unquote Ukrainian or Nazis basically enlisting in his military so they can find out who they are because they're going to show up at these rallies in support of this. And that puts a finger on them, doesn't it? It lets them track a little bit easier, which goes right to the next story that I want Austin to cover, what the Supreme Court just ruled in the United States about tracking your data on your cell phone after you sign a permission app. Listen to this. Austin's got a great story on this.
This is huge, guys. This is a big deal. I'm really glad this happened with Supreme Court. And I'm going to go into give you a couple minutes on it, get your take on it here. So pretty much the Supreme Court ruled that your cell phone location data is protected by the Fourth Amendment. This has been something that has gotten continually violated, in my opinion, for the last few decades, especially with the Internet of Things that's going on now. Law enforcement frequently draw virtual fences around areas of interest and require Google to identify every cell phone in the area using cell phone location. It's dubbed geofence search. Officers essentially, in most cases, don't even really have to obtain a warrant. They can pretty much share processes between officers and tech and identify anybody they want at any point in time. Supreme Court ruled that whenever police obtain an individual cell location, even from a third-party tech, it constitutes a search under the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment protects people from unreasonable government searches and seizures and does so in part by requiring search warrants based on probable cause that describe the particular person and things being searched for. Always remember this with the Fourth Amendment. The reason why, when the founding fathers put together the constitutional republic, its phase when it was actually very functional and in its infancy, the whole point of this was because the British would come into the colonial areas and they'd say, we heard you got weapons. We heard you have papers. You have writings that basically are, talking bad about King George. And they would just walk in and just take any stuff they wanted. It didn't matter what it was. They just pick and choose. Oh, well, you also have a very nice diamond ring here. Well, that's ours too. And they take anything they wanted at any point in time, and there was no reprisal to it. There's nothing the colonialists could do about it. This is why the relationship between the two, with basically the redcoats, were such an invasive force, and they continue to start having also themselves being basically quartered in houses. They'd come in and say, there's one show on it was called, I think it was Washington Spies, and they showed a very good depiction of this. The show is fairly historically accurate. Some stuff wasn't exact, but it had a pretty good depiction on it. And these groups, they'd have these fire teams come in, the redcoats, and they say, oh, by the way, you've got this nice house. You got 6 or 7 bedrooms. Well, we're quartering up the redcoats, basically our troops in here. We're putting 4 to a room. You're going to basically take care of 20 of them. And it wasn't just they're staying here. The women are going to feed them. They're going to do all their laundry. They're going to take care of everything that happens, and they can act in any way they want, and there's no reprisal. They're redcoats. They're above the law. This was a really, really big deal as far as quartering troops.
You raise your hand against them, you'll be hung.
Absolutely. There's a scene in that movie, in that show, Washington Spies, done years ago. It was really well done, though. And they're in this bar, and you got the redcoats over there, and you got the colonialists, and they're all drinking at separate tables. And one of the redcoats basically ends up pushing into this guy, knocks him over. And then this girl comes over to help him, and the redcoat slaps the girl. Well, this guy, they get this big bar fight. Well, the next thing you know it, they're all basically in the stockades indefinitely. Well, how long are we going to be in here for? Till we see fit. This is what do you mean? We being charged? Yeah, you basically have, you assaulted a redcoat. That's it. Well, we a week, month? We don't know. We'll decide when we figure out if we want to let you up, if we ever will, or we'll just execute you. Look what they tell them. It just depends on how we feel. This is the problem, and this is why these things were put in place. This was put in place in the Fourth Amendment is because these redcoats were coming any time. We heard you had papers talking bad about King George. Ransack your entire house and take your guns and take your gold and take anything you want. So when they came in, and basically the Fourth Amendment was to put into place to protect people from unreasonable government searches and seizures, and does so in the part by requiring search warrants based on probable cause to describe the particular person or thing to be searched. A geofence warrant that identifies every phone in an area does not align well with these requirements. So 6-3 decision, United States. They sent the case to the Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to determine whether the geofence warrant was an issue, including its parts. And the Supreme Court has ruled now, as a privacy or electric surveillance and tech law authority, Author Legal has basically said that Google tracks the vast majority of cell phones, collecting your location, usage, and service data through installed software apps. This does not go basically an action where you're giving up your rights, and it does not give law enforcement the right to go through and track you. Now, here's the thing about this. The third-party doctrine is what this was really based on, is that the person's cell phone location is protected by the Fourth Amendment. The court has declared that law enforcement must obtain a judicially approved warrant to secure tracking data or execute geofencing searches on any person now. This is huge. Now, does that mean that NSA and the CIA aren't going to continually track and monitor what everybody's doing? No. They're going to continue to do it. What this has done, though, is this has put a massive wrench in the cog of unconstitutional law enforcement behavior, and the fact that if they do this now, they can't just drag you in and charge you and use this as evidence. Anything they have on geofencing now, if it was obtained without a certified warrant from a judge, it's inadmissible. They can't use it in court against you. So if they say, well, we've tracked you here. Okay? Your attorney, if you have a good attorney, is going to say, "Can you show me a search warrant? I need a judge stamp search warrant." Well, we obtained it from Google. Get out. There is no case here. You cannot use this in a court of law anymore. It's inadmissible. You collected it illegally.
Question. We had a person that I know, not a friend, who basically stole from one of her clients with the help of her son about a year and a half ago. And they tracked her car with cameras, with flock cameras all over Winter Haven, then basically put this evidence together against her. Can they use the evidence from the cameras if they say they didn't get the location tracker from the cell phone?
If they go back, and here's the kicker on that, it's more than likely the way it's going to fall. This is the giant, this goes into Flock now, and I've warned you guys about this. Flock obtains all this data, because remember, they're not a social media platform that you're consenting to. They're law enforcement based background that's collecting all this data. What they're going to do is they compile this on a server, and then law enforcement can file a warrant and then go back and retrieve that information off Flock camera systems. That's how they're going to get around a lot of this.
Would it have to use a cell phone to find the initial location?
No, because they're going in and taking cameras of your tag, your vehicle, and the entire aspect of where you drive. They're not using cell phone location on Flock. They're taking physical photos of your vehicle as you drive by.
I wonder if they use the cell phone to find the initial location. If at that point it could get kicked out,
they don't have to. From what I saw, this is why Flock's so spooky, guys. This is why I've been yelling about them for years, and nobody's listening to me. Now finally, people are realizing how creepy it is. Flock obtains this data because they're saying it's public information. Because you're driving on a road, you have no expectation of privacy while you're driving publicly on a road with your tag exposed. That's their stance on it, and that has been ruled in court. Here's the problem. What they're doing is now, this is why they're putting so many flock cameras up. This right here, because this flock camera system was designed to bypass if this happened. Because what's happened now is there's a wrench in this with Google tracking and geo-tracking on phones. Now they're going to basically use vehicles because remember, every car that goes through every intersection, every day, 24 hours a day where a flock camera is located has a photo taken of it in real time, recorded all day, every day. What they're going to do is, and that's how they track people, is they go in and say, okay, we have so-and-so's name, pull up their vehicles that are registered. Okay, these tag numbers. Put these tag numbers into the flock search. They put in the tag in the flock search. Then flock correlates all this information on every single photo ever taken of you in this intersection and all other intersections and track you around these areas. This is why they're so bent on trying to put flock at every single intersection, because right now there's still giant gaps in coverage on it. This is why flock's so creepy, and the fact that this at least, though, put a wrench in the concept of them being able to go in and say, hey, Google, we want all self-location. Because remember, the one thing about it is flock, as you just asked me a question, Ted, is flock cameras go in and can only take photos of your car when you're driving through intersections. Cell phone data goes everywhere with you in your pocket.
That's true.
You go in the store, you go in the mall, you go in a restaurant, it tracks you everywhere. Whereas flock is limited in its capacity at this point in time now because it can only take photos of your tag in those intersections, which means there's still big gaps. Whereas the cell phone tracking monitors you everywhere. I mean, you don't even have to be on a road. You could take a vehicle off-road and be out in the woods. If there is GPS location, they have cell phone data location of you. That's the creepy part about what law enforcement could do before this.
Except for certain parts of Montana where there's zero cell phone service.
Wyoming.
Oh, yeah.
Train station.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, by the way, there's a pretty good movie. I'm not promoting it for kids because it's got some kind of mystical, weird stuff in it, but it's called King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
That's the old one?
That's about 8 years old now.
Okay,
10
I
years
remember
old.
the first one a long time ago.
No, it's a good one. It's directed by Guy Ritchie, and it stars Charlie Hunnam, and it's got some pretty good scenes in it. And one of the things in here, he gets in a fight with one of these guards that's from the King's Guards, right, Austin?
Yep.
And he touches him, and the guy goes, "That's going to cost you your hand."
Ooh.
That's what he said. So that's going to cost your hands. And then the other story, the other one, again, it's not for kids, is the one with Liam Neeson, Rob Roy, in which he didn't do anything wrong. They basically set him up, and then they told him, you're not getting a trial, basically. We're going to hang you from the bridge right now. And so when you understand what happens in a monarchy, and it's not what you want.
No.
Because once these people become the agents of the king, the same thing happened if you watch the movie with Mel Gibson. Which is that one, Austin, when he did the big one? Braveheart.
Oh, yeah.
The king's armies, you can't touch them. You do, they're going to kill you. And if anything that you do they don't like, they just cut your throat or hang you. It's awful.
It was his wife.
Yeah, they did it to his wife. Cut his throat. And that's a great movie, but not for kids. None of these movies for kids this morning. But it's one. I mean, Braveheart got a bunch of Academy Awards.
It did, and that's the problem when you have this like you said, a monarchy, this overreaching level of government. And so I really hope, because there's so much blowback right now, I really hope, because they've been fighting this flock thing, multiple attorneys have, I hope flock ends up going to Supreme Court. Because quite frankly, having traffic monitoring systems, there's nothing illegal about that. They've already ruled that numerous times. However, this isn't what they've done with flock. Flock is specifically designed to track vehicle location, vehicle description, and vehicle movement in real time all the time. It's not just a live feed camera that, if there's an accident intersection, it gets faster, dispatch on 911. Oh, we got an accident. We just saw it. Basically, they get dispatch out 2 or 3 minutes early for somebody calls 911. Flock is designed specifically to spy on every single individual in an intersection and get complete. Now, remember, here's the part that's going to be the kicker with this. Flock now has different types of Wi-Fi sensors that they're putting into all the camera systems that Flocks are on to pick up on your Wi-Fi and your geo-tracking on your phone to intertwine that with the camera. This is going to be interesting to see how this works now with the Supreme Court ruling, if they're going to be able to continue to do this. If it's going to be shut down. Because when I read the excerpt on this with Supreme Court, these guys are adamant about it. I mean, they were 100%. Your location is not basically free. It is covered on the Fourth Amendment. Nobody has a right to it in law enforcement whatsoever without a court-issued warrant. So,
isn't it nice that the founders of our country did this, or their Constitution?
It at least slowed it down with some speed bumps, man. Because if you want to have, and it's funny when you're younger, right? And you learn about constitutional law, and you're younger, You don't really grasp the concept. You're like, quartering houses in the world. You can't go and just start seizing stuff out of people's property. That's common sense, guys. Why would they go in and seize people's stuff? We start looking at it and you're like, they wrote this stuff specifically for these exact reasons that they knew were going to occur again in a tyrannical government.
And that's why Paul says in the New Testament over and over again, stay away from orgies. And when I was, no, listen, let me make it a little bit light here. This is negative stuff. Okay,
Flock, Wi-Fi, orgies. Got it. We'll try to tie them together.
No, you guys, I had to get a laugh out of the audience.
You got to laugh out of me.
You got to laugh out of you. Okay, and here's why. Because in the Old Testament, the Romans were doing the orgies all the time. And Paul knew how debauching that was, how horrible it was. And he kept warning the new Christians, the people converting to Christianity, don't do this. You think, well, how does that apply today? Nowadays, we've got groups of people that still do this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable what they do with some of the Burning Man stuff and all the rest of it. That's all it is. And it's sad to me that this same cycle now is repeating itself, and it's all part of their satanic worship, period.
Well, and the Founding Fathers knew the cyclical effect of things. They knew they did this. Now they had to put these things in place. Because you got to remember, up until then, nobody had really written a Bill of Rights that you have rights ingrained by your Creator, God Almighty, and they're indisputable. And here they are. And
the Magna Carta said some of that.
It did, but this goes into really specific detail.
It does.
This isn't just like, okay, your rights are given you by God Almighty. You were right about that with the Magna, but this goes into like really, really specific detail of you can't go into somebody's house, you can't do anything to their stuff without a specific thing that you're going in with a warrant signed for the person or things to be seized and searched specifically. And you're reading it and you're like, man, this is so odd. Like, why are they so specific? That's what the Second Amendment's like. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And you know they're writing that in that lingo, and they're like...
And freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You can criticize Donald Trump or King George.
Yep.
And back then, if you criticize King George, off with the head. It's so it's terror. It's terror rage is what it was. Oh, by the way, speaking of this, AI is going to be involved in all this too. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Because AI is going to find a way out of it. They're going to have to pass laws against AI. That's going to have to go to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
And now AI basically is this. I don't know if you saw this or not. These guys are in a transport plane. They're a bunch of soldiers, and they're asking everybody to basically pray for them. And they're all sitting there, they look like a bunch of bodybuilders, and there's transport aircraft, and nobody's got shirts on. I kid you not. And they're all in great shape. And this guy starts talking that pray for us because we're going to harm's way, et cetera, et cetera. All computer generated. None of it's real.
Well, I
Let's
seen
go.
that.
These soldiers flooding your feet, tens of thousands of these now. They probably are not real. Videos generated by artificial intelligence have swarmed social media to exploit public support of U.S. troops for other purposes. What they're doing is they're getting all of these people to come in now and support the U.S. troops because they're making these appeals as they go into Iran.
Oh, gosh.
This is all PSYOP.
And it's all AI.
The American soldiers who appeared in a TikTok video last month are handsome, muscular, and shirtless.
But they're supposed to go on a C-130?
Uh-huh.
Let me clarify this. They don't. The U.S. military doesn't allow troops, especially operators, to be posting videos inside military planes on social media before an op.
Shirtless.
Ever. Well, yeah, shirtless, period. But ever. That doesn't happen. You would get court-martialed so stinking fast if you did that.
The American soldiers who appeared in this TikTok video, okay, were moving out shortly, one says, sitting inside what appears to be a troop transport aircraft. It's going to be a long one. If you can, just send a little love our way. The video is complete concoction, generated by artificial intelligence with the goal of enticing viewers to click. It is one of thousands, according to researchers who track them, and they have deluged social media with fake images and made these people look like American service members on duty. Wait a minute. Why are they doing this? You better get into the box, and you better do it willingly.
Yeah.
Or you're you know what? And I say, because remember, this is on TikTok. Who owns TikTok? That would be Israel.
The little hat people.
And so I find this absolutely fascinating that they would do this. And now, who's gonna like this? Women, unless they're butch dyke lesbians, and
they'll probably still like it.
They hate everything.
They hate everything.
No, they do. Even lesbians don't like butch dykes. I've been told that, by the way, by a former lesbian who watched the show.
Dude,
now.
Man. No, but you couldn't cut me any slack on my show on my birthday.
No, we
couldn't do it.
No, we've got to basically just chill.
Well, I got one for you then. You'll love this one.
Oh, you can play that video?
No, I'm not playing that video. I'm not. I don't want to get banned today.
Oh, that would ban us permanently.
Not today. I don't want to ban it today. You guys will like this. Well, I'm going to talk about this. Stay tuned. This is a really good article. What food processing actually does to your food.
This is how they make it poison.
This is a really cool article. I'm going to go into detail, but this is more of a funny story. Final trailer for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey gets unanimously mocked for race swapping and trans roles.
Is that the girl right there?
I think that's the girl that's
playing Achilles.
I don't. They haven't confirmed yet.
Oh no, they don't want to destroy the box office.
Says the latest trailer for the Odyssey is being heavily downvoted on YouTube in the wake of Nolan's controversial decision to race swap Greek characters and have them speak the entire film in modern vernacular. There's not a single word of Greek in the entire film. None. Not even a reference. It's all in modern English. And I'm not saying the film needs to have subtitles, but my gosh, you got to have some references that are at least in Greek. Nothing.
Well, Charlize Theron's on the film in that movie, and a lot of guys, I don't know if this is true, but they say she's a dude, that she's a tranny. And I know I saw a picture of her kid one time with her, and it's,
well, all of her kids, I think she's turning them into transgenders.
Yeah, I mean,
all of them.
So I mean, now she's lost a lot of weight. She's had a facelift, and she doesn't even look the same person anymore.
She's pretty. She was younger, but
Yeah.
I don't think she's a dude. I think she's really weird. Anyways, let me finish this. Despite the YouTube now hides the actual numbers of downvotes and videos received, there are sites that allow users to uncover those metrics. As of the writing of this article, metrics show the reactions to the new trailer stand at 368,000 downvotes to only 50,000 likes. That's a disastrous 86% ratio of dislikes to likes.
They need to reshoot the scenes with that tranny in there.
They need to cut out. They got AI now. They need to cut this. They're putting because Matt Damon's in this film. This is a big budget film.
He's a great actor.
No, he is, and he's too big. He's probably 25 million on this movie.
Well, probably more than that. He's born identity. Yeah.
So I mean, you got it. This movie's a super high budget film. If they bring this thing to market and they got a budget that's $500 million in there or something with special effects and everything, I don't know how much it's going to be expensive film. And this thing only does, $20 million its opening weekend, and it's about disaster. You're going to have some investors that are going to go bonkers.
It's another woke Hollywood nightmare is what it is.
It is.
And I really wanted to see this movie. I'm really caught between a rock and a hard place because I really don't want to see a tranny playing the part of Achilles.
Well, it's funny here. This is what people are saying. They said one of the early controversies centered around Nolan's cast of African actress Lupita Nyong'o.
She's hideous. She's ugly woman.
And the thing is, I'm not picking on her.
I am.
But the Helen of Troy, if you've ever read history, was supposed to be like this beautiful Greek goddess.
Take your breath away.
She's supposed to be like one of the most beautiful women on earth. And so it says even Tesla chief Elon Musk blasted the movie by dismissing the cast for a mere bit for the awards. Basically, they're trying to put a bunch of people in here to try to promote them in a film that should be done in order to basically cover the Odyssey, one of the biggest books of all time back then. And you're looking at it, it's a disaster.
Got to be a humiliation ritual for Nolan. Wow.
Listen, the film was also ripped for casting a 5'1", 105-pound transgender actor, Elliot Page, as a yet confirmed role, as everybody's claimed she's playing Achilles. A recent allegation spark has said she's now going to be cast as Greek warrior Scion.
Well, if they do that, that'll make it better.
Well, they might be the reason why they may have slowed the final release out. They may be moving that around.
Giant digital edit.
Reshoot. Yeah.
Well, when you have 100 million people, and I'm exaggerating, say this movie's awful, I'm not going to see it because of that, you probably want to change it before you release it.
Well, the thing is, it might have a huge opening. What's going to happen is, though, the internet is not nice to anyone. It's not forgiving.
Years ago, John Hagee wrote a book. And I don't care for John Hagee, though I've heard him some pretty good sermons from a patriot standpoint. But he was talking about how there's a certain group of little hat people, they don't need to accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. They have their own special plan of salvation to go to heaven. They had to take the book and recall it, Austin. They'd recall it.
Really?
Because they had such blowback from it. And, and so that tells you where he's coming from. I guess he wants you to get in the box. Well, Senator Lindsey Graham said get in the box.
Did he? Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He said, if you're not willing to die for it, we're
little hats.
We're little hats.
It says finally. It says everybody is eviscerated Nolan's choice of dialogue as the trailer reveals almost all the characters sound like Gen Z hipsters speaking in modern vernacular and catchphrases than actual Greek warriors of the Trojan War period. That's what I was saying. Not only did they not use any Greek verbiage in it, it's all this like new hipster stuff with all new phrases.
Now, I will say this. That one movie I mentioned earlier, that one, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, it had a lot of that current vernacular in it.
Did it?
But it worked. It's like that one movie. Remember that one movie that was it? It was the guy who died young. He was also in he made Keith Ledger. Remember when he did that one thing about he was a knight?
Oh, The Knight's Tale.
Remember it had a lot of music?
You're right,
it
though.
worked. It worked.
They use some funny new verbiage, but they also use a ton of old vernacular too in that time. And then they used the soundtrack was funny.
The funniest actor in that movie is the guy running around naked.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was hilarious.
The philosopher.
Oh my gosh, he was great. Had a gambling problem, lost all his clothes. But he was hilarious.
But see, that movie was like, it was a comedy spoof, but a period piece.
It was great.
It was funny. It worked. You're trying to do a serious film, a really true serious film on the Odyssey.
Look at this picture.
And you got everybody going, yeah, brother, this will be a blast to go invade it. Let's jump in that Trojan horse. That was kind of country, I don't know why. But everybody's going to be like, that's
give me a high five.
Give me a high five, brother. You sound like Hulk Hogan over here. And everybody's like,
I like Hogan.
I love Hogan. He's great, man. Rest in peace. The guy was pretty cool when I met him. The thing is, when you look at this stuff, though, and you're like, you're going to do a movie this big, and you're going to, I don't know how much more they could mess this up so far.
Well, I mean, they could mess it up by putting a bunch of trannies in it. And they
already did.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Trump cultism is just a modern-day Operation Trust. Why trust the plan as a psyop for the weak-minded? Wow. I thought about this, and I started thinking about the Bolshevik Revolution. I've talked about this repeatedly, and how they were told back in the Bolshevik Revolution with Operation Trust the plan, we'll take care of it. The Tsar is still alive. He's coming back into power. No reason to pick up arms against us while we murder you and your family. Because the Tsar is going to save you. He's going to save you. He's playing 500-dimensional chess. The Tsar was dead. Just thought I'd mention that. And it is a very good article. And it talks about all the promises and all the broken stuff and all the financial looting from the companies and all the other stuff. And it says why people are still believing in it. And it says it's the addiction to hopium.
There you go.
Well, because, I mean, without hope, there's not a whole lot in the future, right? But my hope's in Christ Jesus.
Somebody doesn't fail you.
My hope is in the author, the finisher, the perfecter of our faith. My hope is in the creator of the universe. That's my hope. But they want us to have hope in a man, because what these things, these entities that run the planet are, they hate God. They hate Jesus. I mean, they're awful. And so they want you to have hope in a fake story to basically delude you. Years of missed deadlines, the quantum financial support, the Q drops, the mass arrests should have broken the spell. But the followers cling to numerology and new dates. This is a psychological addiction. Hopium feels better than facing reality. As Aaron Day exposed in his investigation of quantum deception scams, these con artists maintain suspense by constantly delaying the promised reset or payouts, thereby securing ongoing subscription revenue. The same blueprint is used in fake churches. Now, that's one of the reasons I read this. I'm going to stop for a second here. Just
fake churches.
And crypto scams. It is a method of extracting compliance and money from desperate people. The global elite know that hopium keeps people mentally ill, unable to question the narrative, and that they shun anyone who points out the obvious con. Gaydis Martin wrote about how the entrenched two-tier justice system and endemic corruption depend on a passive population that believes that salvation will come from above, from their leadership in Washington, D.C. I have seen this cycle destroy families who gave everything to the cause, only to be left bankrupt and betrayed. The addiction to false hope is the most dangerous drug of all. And finally, when you realize that it's the Sabbatean, Kabbalist, Luciferian synagogue of Satan that's running the planet, you get snapped tight. You don't do this anymore. Now you look to Christ. You look to Jesus. You look to God for the hope that you have. Our hope is in Him, the creator of the heavens and the earth. He came and He died for us. These people in Washington have not done that. They have come to basically enrich themselves in most cases and to drag us into a one world order and into a one world government, period. And when you understand this, there was a book that was written. It was called, what was it called? It was Faith, Delusion, something else. It was a very good book. I talked about it last week. The crazy part about it is that's what we do. We have these delusions. And the same thing happens now. I'm going to step on some toes. And these name it, claim it, blab it, grab it churches that turn God into a vending machine. God ain't a vending machine. Now, He wants to bless you. He wants to take care of you. And He wants to be part of your life. And He wants a relationship with you. But He ain't a vending machine. You don't go to God, okay, I need $1,000 today because I didn't pay my bills last month and I forgot to work.
I forgot to work.
No? Okay. I want to know why I'm not blessed yet, but I got a 320 beacon score and I haven't paid my last 25 creditors.
Because you don't pay your bills.
Okay. There's like,
I'm sorry. I'm not going to.
But if you give that pastor the money, you're going to get. He gets a private jet. And he gets 5 mansions, and basically, you get to send him on vacation around the world.
What they do is they play on the concept of a lot of biblical stories, like the widow,
Abraham.
the widow giving her last coin, and these different concepts of things that basically were used in the Bible, and they twist them and they manipulate them to extract as much cash they can out of people. They go, you can't make your car payment this month for $500. That's okay. Give me the money, and I'll pray that God blesses you, and He makes your car payment for you. But the problem is, guys, there's also the story in the Bible of putting your seed on good soil, rocky soil.
There you go.
Crows eat your seed. Be careful of what you put your money into. Just because somebody tells you, if you give me your money, you're going to be blessed, doesn't mean they're following biblical principles of God Almighty.
Doesn't mean they're Christians.
Doesn't mean they're Christian. Be careful of wolves in sheep's clothing. There's always those guys out there that pretend to be something that they're not. You give $500 to somebody, and they tell you they're going to pray that God pays your car payment for you, and all of a sudden your car gets repossessed next month, and you start yelling at God, and God's going, I didn't tell you to give that guy money. He's a buffoon. He's going to burn in the lake of fire. I will dismiss him.
I have seen people also,
I don't know him.
I have seen people not pay the utility bills and have the utilities turned off.
Yeah.
Because the pastor said so.
Oh, no. I've seen some
I have
crazy
seen them.
stuff
I
too.
have seen them not pay their house payment.
We're going to pray that you find a wife soon. You need to give us $1,500 a month. We'll keep praying you have a wife. 10 years later, still can't find a wife. So guys, it's happened to. All of a sudden, it's like, well, I'm out of cash now.
Oh, we're going to go there now. We're going to go there right now.
Well, no, I've seen it all.
No,
I've been behind the scenes with you, and I got a real clear eye of it at a young age of it ain't what you think it is, man.
I remember Ted Shuttlesford said to me one time, he called me up in front of the whole group of the big church, and he said, man, you've been behind the scenes. It ain't what you thought it was going to be. He said, you've been in like the Holy of Holies, so to speak. He said, it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. And I looked at him, I said, boy, is that the truth?
I was a kid with you half the time when I saw it, and I look back now, and I'm like, oof.
Okay. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. You basically have a group of people somewhere out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Texas, or someplace that are telling you that if you give them money, you're going to find a beautiful young wife.
Literally. Verbatim.
No, I'm not making this up.
We're not referencing me or him or anybody that we're involved in. This is a story we know personally of somebody out. And
so the guy basically pretty much almost bankrupts himself, giving this group of people money. I mean, now the person he's giving the money to is a billionaire. He says he's a billionaire right from the pulpit.
B with a B as in bro.
Like 1,000 million.
Billion.
In fact, he said he's worth like $4 billion. Yeah. Okay, and so. I told my friend, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And he did it and did it and did it. Now he was bankrupt again. Had to go into his retirement savings to get back current and get solvent again. I saw it happen, okay? And he still didn't have a wife. And they actually assigned someone to him to call him every month and pray with him personally, because they found that when they get these givers like that who give money no matter what, it's really good for them to have somebody come and pray with them once a month, because it keeps the money, the taps going.
You're giving unit numbers such. You're literally a number on a sheet with them. They're on a call list.
But let me do it one more thing. I'm going to go one more notch. Female preachers that I know. I'm not going to mention any names here. I have a friend of mine who was supplying nutritional supplements to the family. And they call him up one Saturday. And she's one of these people, give me money, you'll be blessed people. I'm not going to mention any names here. And he had his staff member go to their house on a Saturday afternoon, per their request, and they were having an orgy in the front foyer. When they opened the doors, they were standing in there naked. Now, if I told you the name, everybody know who it was. But the point is this is not the people that you support. It's exactly what Austin said. Now, I don't normally go into that kind of detail on the show, but the reality is that I've seen so much. That's why I always say to you, support your local church, period. If they start putting countries' flags other than the United States flags
there
on the
you
pulpit,
go.
Don't just walk away. If their books are not open and you don't know what people earn in that church and you don't know where the money goes, go somewhere else.
Facts.
As fast as you possibly can. It's really important you listen to me right now.
Open books are really important in a church. I'll tell you the reason why, guys. I've seen it personally firsthand where a lot of churches, they use these 501c3s as a tax-free piggy bank to live very levels of lifestyle that you don't even see on the outside, even at church. I know a pastor. He's passed now. Ted knows him. I was there at his church.
Oh, and by the way, he was queer on top of everything else.
And found out later he was a pedophile. later on. Absolute extensive car collection. I mean, extensive
Rolls
car
Royce,
collection.
Lamborghini,
Everything.
multiple private jets.
And that was all 501c3 money as well. We got to make sure we ride style, ride safe. I said, dude, that's a $500,000 Rolls Royce Phantom. I'm not knocking you, bud, but that's style. I mean, I guess it's other people's money, so it doesnnn't matter.
And they always have a business on the side where they say, this is where I make all my money. It's total lie.
Exactly right.
And, and so I find all this stuff. And
where did we go? Why do we go this rabbit hole my birthday?
Because we're talking about hopium.
I know.
Okay? You keep your hope and you keep your heart and mind in Christ Jesus, for he is the author and he is the finisher. He's the perfecter of our faith. And it's through him we can do all things. Period. The world pulls you. In fact, John Whitehead did a really good commentary. The empire, the United States, at 250 years, can the principles of 1776 survive the American police state? Whoa. He goes, this is a strange year of anniversaries. 250 years ago, a band of revolutionaries declared their independence from a king. This goes right back to what Austin was talking about. America's founders rejected concentrated power. They denounced standing armies. They distrusted government secrecy. They risked their lives to escape a ruler who could tax without consent, wage war without accountability, and govern without meaningful restraint. Oh, that sounds like today again. It sounds like Rome again. 25 years ago, after the attacks of September 11th, America embarked on a very different journey. The federal government claimed extraordinary emergency powers, surveillance expanded, wars multiplied, executive authority grew, and constitutional safeguards were weakened in the name of security. Book, David Icke. Don't promote him because he's not a Christian, but he wrote The Trigger. Read it. 1,000 pages, have fun. Well-written book. Not promoting him because of the Christianity stuff, but it's a good book. One anniversary marked the revolt against the empire. The other marked the normalization of it. Now, as America prepares to celebrate 250 years of independence, we are confronted with a bitter irony. The public-born rebellion against the empire has become an empire in everything but name. Again. Worse, the U.S. government is violating the very principles that justified the American Revolution. Grift, and corruption, endless wars, profiteering, trillions squandered abroad while the nation sinks deeper and deeper into debt at home. I'm not going to read you the rest of this stuff because it gets really negative. But the point is, everything he says is true. I like this guy, Rutherford. Or Whitehead. He does a great job. Austin, what's your next story?
Let me get into this one. This is a cool story. This is some health stuff for you guys, since I know we're health masters. I try to bring you kind of some health stuff, but sometimes we get sidetracked on different topics on here. It says what food processing actually does to your food. And it says, there's a long debate over whether processed foods, ultra-processed foods, are harmful solely because of their ingredients, or whether the processing itself contributes to poor health. The new study lends support to the latter, and both at the same time. The findings published in the American Journal of Public Health come from researchers at Tufts University found that eating more ultra-processed food raised the risk of almost all serious illnesses and early death, even after accounting for salt, sugar, and saturated fat content pulled out, meaning the ultra-processed food, it's not even just the sugar or basically the refined carbs. It's a whole list of things that's involved in it. It says for every 10% increase in ultra-processed food consumption, there was a 7% higher risk of metabolic syndrome, 3% higher risk of diabetes, 5% higher risk of cancer, 4% higher risk of death. He said every 10% increase in ultra-processed foods. So you look at your total food calories for the day. Say you're eating, just coming over 2,000, right? 2,000 average. 10%. So every 200 calories you eat more ultra-processed foods, you're increasing your likelihood of metabolic syndrome by 7%.
That's huge, Austin.
That's enormous, guys. Yeah.
So you eat 2,000 calories of that stuff, you're going to have metabolic
syndrome, and you're going to have diabetes, and you're going to increase your risk of cancer. The numbers literally go up, and there's no cap. There's no cap on it. It continues to go up the more you eat. And so it goes into detail here. It says the study drew data from National Health Nutrition Examination Survey between 1999 and 2018. This is a large, long-running federal database that tracks Americans' eating habits and health outcome surveys. The findings suggest that factors beyond nutrients, such as changes to food structure, loss of beneficial compounds, additives, and chemicals from packaging contribute to health risks. The breakdown of natural food structures from processing, the reduction of beneficial nutrients like fiber, polyphenols, and bioactive compounds all contribute to the harmful effect as it compounds and gets worse and worse and worse. They go on to say here, the problem with processing is the industrial techniques break down the cellular structure of food. They break it down. They strip away fiber, beneficial chemical compounds, and vitamins to support health while introducing additives rarely found in any home cooking or even in life. I mean, some of these additives, they never get exposed to them.
Glyphosate.
Right. Or high fructose corn syrup. mean, if you've ever watched how they process high fructose corn syrup,
Sickening.
It's sickening. It really is. It's disgusting. They take corn and they keep refining basically the syrup out of it, and they refine it until it's on a level of sweetness that's unnatural on every level. And it causes so much problems with the liver to try to process it. Not to mention, this is my opinion, I haven't been able to verify anything different. 100% of high fructose corn syrup is from glyphosate sprayed corn, Roundup corn. I've never seen an organic high fructose corn syrup, non-glyphosate.
I've never
Could it
seen
exist? Maybe.
I've never seen
I've never seen one ever, because anybody that's halfway smart goes, why would you even use high fructose corn syrup?
It's cheap.
Much less use organic. It's designed to be insanely cheap. That's the whole point of it. It says, it goes on in detail here with, plus including the chemical preservatives, hydrogenated oils, high fructose corn syrup, artificial colors and flavors. Think of ultra-processed foods as they're several steps removed from their original ingredient with numerous dangerous toxic ingredients replaced with them. They said the structure transformation makes matters more than previously understood. When processing breakdowns of food's cellular architecture, the body absorbs it differently, faster, with less satiety and fewer nutrients intact. The removal of fiber disrupts the intestinal mucosal barrier, potentially allowing bacteria in the bloodstream and triggering inflammation.
That's leaky gut syndrome.
Leaky gut syndrome. Synthetic emulsifiers, additives, he said, compound that effect. The study suggests processing itself is just as harmful beyond the nutrient content. That's why ultra-processed food is so toxic, guys. It's a compounded effect of toxicity, because it's not just like, hey, I'm eating a piece of candy one time, and it's got some sugar in it. Your body will process it. It's that you're replacing regular, true, organic, or raw food with ultra-processed food in most cases, because once you eat that processed food, you're not hungry anymore. You just ate junk, and then you want to keep eating it and keep eating it and keep eating it.
Addictive.
It's unbelievably addictive. It says simple swaps. Swap chips for basically raw nuts. That's a great option. Swap soda for some type of unsweetened tea. My opinion, what I like a half a scoop of the magnesium and a half a scoop of vitamin C. I put that in a tumbler almost every day, along with some aqua trace minerals in there. You throw a little bit of vitamin C, a little bit of magnesium in a 30-ounce tumbler, you'll be shocked at how good it tastes, and you keep drinking it all day, which means you're constantly keeping your body flooded with magnesium and vitamin C. You'll be shocked at how much energy you have, too. It says swap deli meats for chicken and turkey that you bake or roast yourself and slice. So basically going in and cooking your own food.
That way you don't eat the sodium nitrite from the deli meats.
And here's the problem, too. Like boar's head. I love boar's head deli meat. I do eat it on occasion. There's no sodium nitrite in it. They've been very staunch about that.
There's some of them are.
Some
not
of them
all,
are.
Not all
So, yeah, I would say from what I've researched, about 80% are pretty clean. But it's still deli meat. The problem with this, too, is the processed sodium that's in it. Regardless of how clean it is, you look at it, the sodium's through the roof. And the problem is I highly doubt they're using Redmond salt.
The other day I ordered some fish. So it was basically a type of trout from the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
And it was so salty from the chef, I had to send it back.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing you tasted was salt. And that's the problem with these luncheon meats a lot of times. They're so heavily processed with sodium, they're not healthy.
It increases the shelf life. It increases the transportation life, so it allows the food to last longer. Because remember, I mean, quite frankly, that's how they used to process, like beef back in the day. You'd salt it. You salt meat. It was your salted process.
That salt was different than today's salt.
That's exactly what I was about to say. The difference is back then is they were literally pulling chunks of salt out of the ground, like we have over in Utah that we use the Redmond salt, where it's got all these different minerals in it, and they run it over a core, basically a bristle, and basically shave salt all over it.
I don't think the Redmond salt's out of Utah. I think that comes out of Europe.
Redmond?
I think so.
Out of
yeah.
Utah.
Is that
You
Utah?
want me to check it for you?
No,
I'm
we'll check.
99
We'll
on
check.
that.
We'll let you know tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's good salt regardless.
It's great salt. But there's also ones like the Himalayan salt. I don't carry that one. That's also a decent one as well. Because you're never supposed to have straight high doses of sodium chloride.
And don't
purely.
use sea salt.
No. Because it's almost always contaminated as far as with aluminum, heavy metals. Almost always got aluminum in it. And a lot of times, sometimes I've heard they put doggone fluoride in it too.
They do a lot of times, yeah. So you're right. So all this stuff is awful. That's why especially when you give 60% of the kids daily diet, processed foods, how are they going to have proper brain development?
Well, that's exactly what the last comment here says. Ultra processed foods now account for roughly 60% of children's daily calories. Well, you got to think. What did it just say? 10%. Every 10% of ultra processed foods, your risk of metabolic syndrome goes up 7%. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at a 42% increase. 60% kids. I mean, you're
that's why you got so many kids with
50,
diabetes.
60. Yeah. I mean, I've met kids, and I've got
and obesity.
I know, and I mean, the kids are 120, 130 pounds. They're 7, 8 years old. I mean, they can't even hardly tie their shoes already. And you look at it and you go, that is 110% of the parent's fault. You're making decisions that your children are going to pay the consequences for.
Yeah, I remember Sharon's half brother when he's 8 years old, 130 pounds. And I warned everybody. I said, this is not going to be good for us. It'll really affect his self-esteem. And it did. He ended up at 37 dying.
I mean, this is just, a little ways back, Hunter had a bunch of his little friends over. And they were doing, Nerf gun war, some little Nerf thing for him. Went over to Ted's property, all over the place. They had all these smoke grenades, all this stuff. And what's crazy about it is they had all this, and one of the kids that came with them was pretty obese. He's like 130 pounds, 8 years old. And he was getting all frustrated because they're like climbing over the wall. I mean, Hunter's shredded. I mean, he already do multiple pull-ups. He can rack out more push-ups to exhaustion. And the kids over there can't get up the wall. Can't get over this.
And they had to crawl under the strings, remember?
Yeah, we simulated barbed wire basically with strings on it. And he just gets stuck on all of that. And the problem with it is, as a parent, you are being insanely negligent. I'm going to say it. You are a crappy father. You are a crappy father. You are a crappy-ass father if you're allowing your son to be morbidly obese. I'm just going to say it flat now. Because you're causing health problems, mental problems, and long-term every type of problem.
But you're making one assumption.
That the parent cares.
No, not even that. The father buys the food. So if we're going to call
same goes for mothers.
No.
The father, though, the father is supposed to lead the household.
Whoa.
No. The father's supposed to lead.
That's right.
If the woman won't listen about the food, the father has to step in. If the woman is so stinking stubborn, she won't stop eating her Twinkies and ding-dongs and cupcakes and crap food and is allowing these kids to be 150 pounds, which I personally watch now, the father needs to step in and say, listen, I'm leading by example. This crap goes back to the store. I am not going to raise children that are going to be injecting insulin at 12 years old and have to go on GLP-1s at 18 because they're so stinking obese they're having heart attacks now as teenagers. Seen it now. Why in the world are we having all these health problems with these kids as teenagers? It's the food you bring in the house. Change it or stop complaining and enjoy your obesity, enjoy your sick life. I'm serious. I get so many phone calls now. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm this. Here's 10 bullet points. Here's exactly what to do. Well, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. Well, you can sure as heck watch Netflix for 6 hours every night, can't you? Well, you can sure do that. Or you can sure go out and basically go to, Olive Garden, you get your unlimited bread rolls, get your double chicken Alfredo with minimal chicken and all pasta. You can sure go eat that, but you can't do anything different, like proper changes in your health. I digress.
I'm going to make it simple. Fathers, listen to me. Stop being a meow boy.
There you go.
That's just what you're doing. You're being a meow boy. And women, stop doing this to your kids. If your husband won't take authority and tell you not to do this, you don't need to be doing it either. I've seen so many women that are 100 pounds, 200 pounds overweight, feeding the kids the same food they eat, and they all get obese together. I saw a kid one time he married this TV evangelist's daughter. She lost 150 pounds to get married. He married her. Within 3 years, he's up 100 pounds, and she was back up to 150. I've seen it personally. And, it happens over and over and over again. Choose well when you choose a spouse or a girlfriend or a husband. If all they want to do is eat garbage all the time, you might want to say, and you don't want to eat garbage, it's just, I had one person say to me one time years ago, it's easier to get somebody saved and accept Christ than it is to get them to change their diet. And I thought, that's not true. The heck it's not. That's true. I have a friend of mine, all kinds of health problems, won't stop eating pork. And I told him. Doesn't matter. He likes his pork. Won't stop it. And I can't do anything about it. Won't drink the water. Won't drink the water without fluorine. Won't drink water without chlorine. All these health issues, on and on and on and on. And they're simple fixes. The problem is a lot of people don't want to do what it's going to take. I'm going to say something to you real quick. I'm going to say something about bodybuilding. Okay. Now, bodybuilding has turned into this drug sport. I don't like the fact that it's done that.
It has. It's gone way out of control.
I don't like that. But working out as a young man and disciplining yourself and building your body and getting strong and turning into a man and looking like a man and acting like a man, they all coincide. Bodybuilding will help a young man to build his body and build his own self-esteem more than anything else I've ever seen. Now, athletics will do that too. But I'm talking about if you work and you work and you work in the gym all the time, also you start realizing, hey, I'm feeling pretty strong. Hey, Girls are kind of talking to me now. This is kind of great. I like this. Hey, look, I'm going to keep myself young. I'm not going to take a bunch of steroids and all kinds of drugs. I'm going to stay healthy. And so bodybuilding or any type of athletics will do that. Build it at a young age with these kids.
What it does, and you're spot on with that, because I remember I started doing I raced motocross growing up, and then I got into not bodybuilding, just exercise. I wasn't bodybuilding. I was in the gym with you.
I was
at 14 years old. And I was about 14 when I started. And I think the coolest part of a young man's life, when you start to actually see what you're physically capable of doing, there's an old Socrates quote, I don't have it in front of me, that basically said is, what a tragedy it is for a man to grow up and never see what he can maximum do with his body. Meaning, how much can I do on bench at 18? Safely.
What kind of broad jump can I do?
Yeah, exactly. Can I dunk a basketball? I learned I can't do that. But I can do other things good. You learn certain things that have you limitations to, but you maximum out your potential. What it does is the human brain, especially in men, we're constantly designed to go forward and push and grow and push and grow and push. And when you take that option away from a child, you take it from him at a young age, and you allow him to be morbidly obese on your watch, you take 90% of those things he can ever achieve. We'll never do them. He can't. Physically can't. And so he goes through his life never realizing what his potential is. And he continues to go to all these other vices and all these other things to try to make himself feel better, because he never actually accomplished anything decent when he was younger and figuring out what he could do. The one thing that bodybuilding, athletics, sports will do is it's on you. If it is to be, it's up to you. Nobody's coming to save you. You want to do 225 on inclines? It's on you. I mean, you got a spotter, but it's all 100% you. Nobody's coming in and giving it to you. You don't get I did 50 pounds in inclines. Participation trophy time. Here's a participation trophy. You did 225. Well, you didn't, but you get a participation trophy. No, you moved the iron or you didn't. One or the other. You achieved it or you didn't. And that really builds self-esteem and confidence, or anything with any other sports that the child's in. When he wins, when he grows, when he does things. But it's what it is. It's the participation world we live in now. Where it doesn't matter what you do, what you achieve, you still get the same thing that first place did, because, well, we want to make you feel special. You're not special. You didn't achieve anything. You did nothing different. You just woke up and just you exist.
And you got a trophy for it.
And you got a trophy for it. That trains a child the rest of his life that I don't have to do anything. I could just be a blob and basically try to get my dopamine fixes from my Xanax and my vaping pens and all my other vices that I could go into, try to feel better about myself without actually doing anything. So,
and that's how you end up with college kids with a 10th grade education, operating 10 years of age.
Yeah. And then they're mad when they get out of college with a bachelor's degree in underwater basket weaving, and nobody will hire them. When they do hire them, it's like, your job here, we're starting at $30,000 a year. You're going to push pencils. But I majored in gender studies. Well, that's a you problem, dude. That's nobody cares. Maybe we could find a DEI job for you somewhere at some point in time, maybe. If not,
and the government produced those jobs for those people.
Well, that's the problem. The government continued to make that some type of acceptable form of job.
So the government made these positions in the EPA for people who'd love to arrest them for working on their own pickup truck.
Get me started on the EPA on my birthday, dude. The show's almost over. I will.
Okay, keep your hearts in mind. Wild show today. Remember, your children are your responsibility. They ain't driving to the grocery store picking up the junk.
They're not.
If mama's fat and daddy's fat, maybe neither one of you need to be fat. Now that could
lead by example.
Yeah, and just keep the kids in the gym. Keep the kids eating clean. The Bible says that if they're old, they'll not depart from the way you taught them to do it, including eating junk food. You hear what I said? If you teach them to eat junk food, they're going to continue to eat junk food their whole life. And they're going to die young, a horrible death. They're going to have amputations and everything else because of diabetes. I've seen it over and over and over again. Don't allow that for your kids. Want more for your kids. Exercise with your kids. Show your kids. Your kids are smarter than you think they are a lot of times. Explain to them why you're eating something you're not eating something. I do it all the time. No, we're not going to eat that, bud. It's got this and this and this in it. Now, they may not understand all of it, but you're giving them a reasonable explanation on why. So, no. Explain it. Give them the information on it so they can understand what's going on. This is the best way you can do things, my friends. Thank you for the support. Multiple powder on sale. One last day on my birthday. You guys have a fantastic evening. Stay healthy. Stay strong. Keep up the fight. We'll talk to you again on this show. Thank you for the YouTube comments. I've been seeing them. I didn't comment on any much today on here. And thank you for keeping your hearts and minds in Christ. Thank you for going to church. Thank you for praying for us. And thank you for praying for yourselves every day. We pray for you guys all the time. I love you and really appreciate your support. Without you guys here, we wouldn't be here. God bless.